The Battle of Yultong is a story of unparalleled bravery, resilience, and sacrifice during the Korean War. It stands as one of the most remarkable moments in the history of military engagements, where the 10th Battalion Combat Team, BCT, of the Philippine Army, composed of approximately 1,000 Filipino soldiers, faced and ultimately held their ground against an overwhelming force of 40,000 Chinese soldiers. This heroic episode is a testament to the courage and determination of the Filipino soldiers who fought not just for survival, but to protect a greater cause, freedom and peace for the Korean Peninsula. The Korean War, which erupted in 1950, saw the invasion of South Korea by North Korean forces, sparking a global conflict that drew in nations from across the world. Under the banner of the United Nations, several countries, including the Philippines, sent troops to aid South Korea in its fight against the Communist North. The Philippines, despite being a small nation with limited resources, answered the call for help, sending the 10th BCT as part of its commitment to international peace and solidarity. In April 1951, the war had reached a critical juncture. The Chinese People's Volunteer Army, PVA, had entered the conflict in support of North Korea, launching massive offensives to push back United Nations forces. The Chinese Spring Offensive of April 1951 was one of the most significant and large-scale attacks during the war, involving hundreds of thousands of Chinese troops aiming to overwhelm UN positions and gain strategic advantages. Among the units tasked with holding the line against this onslaught was the 10th BCT, which had been stationed near Yultong, a small town in North Korea. The 10th BCT, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Dionisio S. Ojeda, had already proven its mettle in previous engagements. The unit was well-trained, disciplined, and highly motivated, earning respect from both allies and adversaries. However, the odds they faced at Yultong were unlike anything they had encountered before. The Chinese forces, numbering over 40,000, were determined to break through the UN lines, utilizing sheer numbers and relentless waves of attacks to overwhelm their opponents. The night of April 22, 1951, marked the beginning of the Chinese assault on Yultong. Under the cover of darkness, the PVA launched a ferocious attack, using their trademark strategy of human wave tactics. This involved sending massive waves of infantry against the defenders, hoping to break their resolve through sheer numbers. The Chinese forces were well coordinated, using flanking maneuvers and exploiting weak points in the defensive line. Their aim was to encircle and destroy the 10th BCT and other UN units in the area. As the Chinese forces advanced, the Filipino soldiers of the 10th BCT stood firm. They were heavily outnumbered, but their resolve was unshakable. The battalion had fortified its positions, setting up machine gun nests, trenches, and defensive barriers. Armed with rifles, machine guns, and mortars, the Filipino soldiers fought with remarkable discipline and determination. Their knowledge of the terrain and their strategic use of defensive tactics enabled them to inflict heavy casualties on the advancing Chinese troops. Throughout the night, the battle raged with unrelenting intensity. The air was filled with the deafening sounds of gunfire, explosions, and the cries of wounded soldiers. The Chinese forces pressed on with wave after wave of attacks, but the Filipino defenders held their ground, repelling each assault with fierce resistance. Despite the overwhelming odds, the 10th BCT refused to give an inch of ground. One of the key factors that contributed to the success of the 10th BCT was their exceptional leadership. Lieutenant Colonel Ojeda, along with his officers and non-commissioned officers, demonstrated outstanding command and control during the battle. They maintained morale among the troops, ensured effective communication, and made tactical adjustments to counter the Chinese offensives. The soldiers' training and discipline were evident in their ability to execute complex maneuvers and maintain cohesion under extreme pressure. As dawn broke on April 23rd, the Chinese forces intensified their efforts, launching their most ferocious attacks yet. The 10th BCT, exhausted but resolute, continued to hold the line. The Filipino soldiers displayed extraordinary bravery, often engaging in close-quarters combat to repel the enemy. Their determination to defend their position inspired other UN units in the area, bolstering the overall defensive effort. The battle took a heavy toll on both sides. The 10th BCT suffered significant casualties, with many soldiers killed or wounded in the line of duty. However, their sacrifices were not in vain. By holding their position at Yultong, the 10th BCT prevented the Chinese forces from breaking through the UN lines and achieving their strategic objectives. Their actions disrupted the momentum of the Chinese offensive, buying valuable time for the UN forces to regroup and launch counterattacks. The heroism of the 10th BCT did not go unnoticed. Their steadfast defense and incredible courage earned them the admiration and respect of their allies. General Douglas MacArthur, the commander of UN forces in Korea, praised the Filipino soldiers for their valor and dedication. The Battle of Yultong became a symbol of the indomitable spirit of the Filipino people and their unwavering commitment to the cause of freedom. The legacy of the Battle of Yultong extends beyond the battlefield. It serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made by Filipino soldiers in the pursuit of peace and justice. The bravery and resilience displayed by the 10th BCT continue to inspire generations of Filipinos, highlighting the importance of unity, courage, and determination in the face of adversity. In the years that followed, the Battle of Yultong became a celebrated chapter in Philippine military history. Memorials and tributes were established to honor the soldiers who fought and died in the battle. Their stories were passed down through generations, ensuring that their sacrifices would never be forgotten. The Korean War eventually came to an end in 1953, with the signing of an armistice agreement that established the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ. The sacrifices of the 10th BCT and other UN forces played a crucial role in preserving the sovereignty of South Korea and preventing the spread of communism in the region. The alliance between the Philippines and South Korea, forged in the crucible of war, remains strong to this day. The Battle of Yultong is more than just a historical event. It is a testament to the courage, resilience, and selflessness of the Filipino people. It stands as a shining example of what can be achieved when individuals and nations come together to stand against oppression and tyranny. The story of the 10th BCT at Yultong is a source of pride for the Philippines and a reminder of the enduring values of freedom, justice, and peace. The Battle of Yultong and its aftermath continue to resonate deeply in the collective memory of the Philippines, South Korea, and the global community that values the sacrifices made during the Korean War. The bravery of the Filipino soldiers exemplifies the strength of the human spirit, especially when faced with overwhelming adversity. As the battle subsided and the 10th Battalion Combat Team, BCT, surveyed the aftermath, the full extent of their achievement began to unfold. The Filipino soldiers, though battered and bruised, had managed to hold their ground against an army that vastly outnumbered them. Their strategic ingenuity and relentless courage allowed them to prevail in one of the most grueling battles of the Korean War. The sight of the devastated battlefield, a mix of fallen comrades, enemy casualties, and destroyed terrain, was a grim reminder of the price of their heroism. Despite the victory, the losses were heavy. Many of the 10th BCT soldiers did not live to see the dawn after the brutal night of April 22nd to 23rd, 1951. Their names and sacrifices became etched in the hearts of their fellow soldiers and in the annals of Philippine military history. The surviving soldiers carried forward their fallen brothers' legacies, knowing that their bravery had not only saved lives but also shaped the outcome of the Korean War in favor of the United Nations. News of the Filipino soldiers' heroic stand at Yultong spread rapidly through the ranks of the United Nations forces. Allied commanders were astounded by the resilience and tactical prowess demonstrated by a battalion so heavily outnumbered. The 10th BCT became a source of inspiration for other units, showcasing how discipline, unity, and courage could overcome even the most daunting odds. General Matthew Ridgway, the successor to General Douglas MacArthur as commander of the United Nations forces, commended the Filipinos for their unwavering defense and their crucial role in halting the Chinese offensive. South Korea, the nation whose sovereignty the Filipino soldiers fought to protect, also recognized their bravery. In the years following the war, South Korea extended its gratitude to the Philippines for its contribution to their freedom. Memorials were built in South Korea to honor the soldiers of the 10th BCT and the other nations that fought in the Korean War. To this day, the Filipino veterans of the Korean War are remembered with great respect and admiration by the South Korean people, who credit their sacrifices with helping to secure the nation's future. For the Filipino soldiers, the experience of the Battle of Yultong left an indelible mark. The surviving veterans carried stories of brotherhood, sacrifice, and valor back to the Philippines, where they were met with a mixture of pride and solemnity. Their experiences became an integral part of Philippine military tradition, shaping the training and ethos of future generations of soldiers. The lessons learned at Yultong about the importance of strategy, morale, and adaptability were incorporated into the Philippine Army's doctrine, ensuring that the legacy of the battle lived on. The Battle of Yultong also served as a point of reflection for the Philippines as a nation. At the time of the Korean War, the Philippines was a young republic, still finding its footing after gaining independence from the United States in 1946. The participation of the 10th BCT in the Korean War, and their remarkable performance at Yultong, demonstrated the Philippines' commitment to the global community and its readiness to contribute to international peace and security. This commitment was not only a matter of national pride, but also a statement of the Philippines' role as an emerging player on the world stage. In the decades following the Korean War, efforts were made to preserve the memory of the Battle of Yultong and to honor the soldiers who fought there. The Philippine government established programs to support the veterans of the Korean War, providing them with recognition and assistance for their service. Annual commemorations and ceremonies were held to ensure that the sacrifices of the 10th BCT and other Filipino units were not forgotten. One of the most poignant aspects of the Battle of Yultong is the enduring bond it created between the Philippines and South Korea. The shared history of sacrifice and struggle during the Korean War laid the foundation for a strong and lasting friendship between the two nations. South Korea, now a thriving democracy and one of Asia's economic powerhouses, has never forgotten the contributions of the Filipino soldiers. In gratitude, South Korea has extended various forms of assistance to the Philippines over the years, including educational scholarships, cultural exchanges, and economic partnerships. The veterans of the 10th BCT, many of whom have since passed away, remain heroes in the eyes of their families and their nation. Their stories continue to be shared in classrooms, military academies, and communities across the Philippines, serving as a source of inspiration for younger generations. The Battle of Yultong is more than just a historical event. It is a testament to the values of courage, sacrifice, and unity that define the Filipino spirit. As the years go by, the significance of the Battle of Yultong continues to grow. It is not only a story of military victory but also a powerful reminder of the human cost of war and the resilience of those who fight for peace. The heroism of the 10th BCT at Yultong serves as a beacon of hope and a call to remember the sacrifices made by soldiers and civilians alike in the pursuit of a better world. Today, the memory of the Battle of Yultong is preserved through monuments, museums, and the stories passed down by those who lived through it. In both the Philippines and South Korea, it stands as a symbol of the enduring power of courage and cooperation in the face of overwhelming challenges. The story of the 1,000 Filipino soldiers who stood their ground against 40,000 Chinese troops is a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of ordinary people when united by a common purpose. The legacy of the Battle of Yultong reminds us that even in the darkest moments of history, the light of bravery and sacrifice can shine through, inspiring future generations to strive for peace and justice. The soldiers of the 10th BCT may have fought their battle decades ago, but their story will forever be etched in the hearts of those who cherish the values they stood for and the freedom they helped to preserve. The legacy of the Battle of Yultong extends far beyond the battlefield, continuing to resonate through time as a symbol of courage, unity, and the unwavering resolve of the Filipino people. It represents not only a significant military achievement, but also an enduring reminder of the bonds formed during a critical moment in history. The sacrifices of the 10th Battalion Combat Team, BCT, have become a cornerstone of Philippine military pride, a testament to the nation's willingness to stand shoulder to shoulder with its allies in the defense of peace and freedom. For decades after the Korean War, the veterans of the 10th BCT carried the scars of their experience, both physical and emotional. Many struggled to reintegrate into civilian life, bearing the weight of memories from the brutal combat at Yultong. Despite this, they carried their service with pride, knowing they had played a critical role in a battle that helped shape the course of the Korean War. These veterans often became leaders in their communities, sharing their stories and teaching younger generations about the values of sacrifice, resilience, and unity. The Filipino veterans' contributions were officially recognized in multiple ways. In the Philippines, the Korean War Memorial Pylon at the Libingan ng Mga Bayani, Heroes Cemetery, honors those who served in the war. The pylon stands as a tribute to their bravery and their unwavering commitment to uphold the ideals of peace and liberty. It is a place where families, friends, and future generations can reflect on the sacrifices made by their ancestors. In South Korea, the Philippines-Korean Friendship Memorial Hall stands as a testament to the enduring bond forged in the heat of battle. Located in Goyang City, the memorial celebrates the Philippines' role in the Korean War and honors the soldiers of the 10th BCT. The hall is a significant site for both Filipinos and South Koreans, symbolizing the deep friendship and mutual respect between the two nations. The personal stories of the soldiers who fought at Yultong also play a crucial role in keeping the memory of the battle alive. Veterans like Captain Conrado Yap, a posthumous recipient of the Philippine Medal of Valor, are remembered not only for their bravery but also for their selflessness. Yap's leadership and ultimate sacrifice during the battle inspired his men to hold the line, even in the face of overwhelming odds. His story, along with those of countless others who fought and died at Yultong, is retold in schools, museums, and documentaries, ensuring that their heroism is never forgotten. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Battle of Yultong is how it continues to inspire future generations of Filipino soldiers. The story of the 10th BCT is an essential part of the curriculum at the Philippine Military Academy, where cadets study the tactics and leadership displayed during the battle. The lessons of Yultong emphasize the importance of discipline, unity, and the will to fight for a just cause, qualities that remain central to the ethos of the Philippine Armed Forces. In South Korea, the Battle of Yultong is also a source of deep appreciation and gratitude. South Koreans often refer to the Filipino soldiers as heroes who fought to protect their homeland. The story of the 10th BCT is taught in South Korean schools, and their contributions are honored during annual commemorative events. South Korean officials frequently express their gratitude to the Philippines through cultural and economic partnerships, highlighting the shared history that binds the two nations. The bond between the Philippines and South Korea extends into modern times. In 2013, when Typhoon Haiyan devastated parts of the Philippines, South Korea was one of the first nations to offer assistance. This act of solidarity demonstrated the lasting impact of the camaraderie forged during the Korean War. Similarly, Filipino peacekeepers have continued to support United Nations missions in various conflict zones, upholding the legacy of international cooperation exemplified by the 10th BCT at Yultong. In addition to the historical and cultural significance, the Battle of Yultong also holds valuable lessons for global military strategy and diplomacy. It highlights the effectiveness of smaller, well-trained units in achieving strategic objectives, even against overwhelming odds. The Filipino soldiers' ability to adapt to the challenges of the battlefield, maintain cohesion under extreme pressure, and execute innovative defensive tactics serves as a case study in military excellence. The sacrifices made at Yultong also underscore the human cost of war. The battle claimed the lives of many brave men, leaving behind grieving families and communities. The memorials and tributes dedicated to these soldiers serve as poignant reminders of the price paid for freedom and peace. They also encourage reflection on the importance of preventing future conflicts and fostering dialogue among nations. As the years pass, the memory of the Battle of Yultong remains a powerful symbol of Filipino heroism and international solidarity. The stories of the soldiers who fought there continue to inspire, reminding us that courage, unity, and determination can overcome even the most daunting challenges. Their legacy is a source of pride for the Philippines and a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Today, the relationship between the Philippines and South Korea thrives on multiple levels: economic, cultural, and diplomatic. The shared history of the Korean War has created a foundation of mutual respect and understanding, ensuring that the sacrifices made at Yultong are never forgotten. Through commemorative events, educational initiatives, and ongoing partnerships, the memory of the 10th BCT and their heroic stand against overwhelming odds lives on, inspiring hope and resilience for generations to come. The Battle of Yultong is more than just a chapter in military history. It is a story of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of unity. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, the strength and determination of individuals can make a profound difference. As we honor the memory of the 10th BCT and their extraordinary achievements, we are reminded of the values that bind us as a global community and the importance of standing together in the pursuit of peace and justice.